DPS podcast, that's Damage Per Second podcast. Back on a fine Thursday night. Feeling all right. Episode 166. We are here this week, and it is going to be one very, very interesting night. For those who, I don't know where you would have to be to not have heard all the shenanigans that has been going on, all the tomfoolery that has been happening since we last had an episode. But it's we're going to discuss it all. We're going to get into it, and we're going to definitely introduce our special guest, although he ain't really a guest. I mean, I think at this point, this gentleman has been here more than any guest that we've had. So, I mean, he's almost like a panel member at this point. I mean, like, he got a key to the house. He comes over whenever, I come home from work, he chilling, with a beer on the couch, just what's up, it is our homie
for you when you're out of town.
Yeah, we appreciate that. Feed the dog and everything, right? Eric Jackson in the house. What's up, Eric, man?
What's going on, man? Happy to be back. Appreciate it. Yeah, I'm tripping off of 166, man. You guys rolling, man.
Rolling.
It feels like you guys just started it like a year ago. I know it's been longer than that, but then 166, man. Okay.
Yeah, man.
On the way to 200, man. That's what's up.
Yeah, we're almost there. We will hit
just over 3 years, basically.
Yeah, I mean, we should be able to hit 200 before the year is out, right? I think.
Yeah.
As long as everything stays consistent. Yeah. 200 episodes going to be wild. I don't know what we're going to do. We're going to give away like a PC or something. I'm kidding. We're not giving away a PC. We're going to acquire a studio from Embracer. It's probably going to cost like 25 cents.
Maybe we'll give out an Xbox. Maybe we'll give out an Xbox depending on what happens next week.
Those might cost 25 cents too by that time. So, hey.
Like that.
Hey, that you know who that is. That is my co-host, Gamer Forte. What's up, Forte?
What up, though? I've been good. I'm great, having fun. Was playing Call of Duty with you over the course of the last couple of days, and been grinding. Grinding, man, grinding. Literally, Call of Duty did us bold and had us thinking the season was going to end in one day and had me up to 2:30 in the morning grinding.
Oh, man.
Just to find out that was not the case, and I could have took my butt to sleep and finished it the next day.
All right, so look, let me explain this for Eric because he's out of the loop. So look, I saw, and this was accurate when I saw it, that the new season for Call of Duty, season 2, starts on Wednesday of this week. And so I was like, oh man, I hit up, Forte, I hit up our boy Taz. I was like, we gotta get this battle pass completed before the new season starts. And they were like, all right, yeah, let's do it. So, we played some over the weekend. I played a lot over the weekend. And on Sunday, I think it was Sunday. No, it was Monday. It was Monday.
Yeah. It was Monday.
It was Monday night, after all the stuff that had gone down, which we about Microsoft and Xbox, and this business event that we were discussing, and we went live on the DPS channel. Please shout out to the DPS channel. Please go there and subscribe to it if you haven't already. And we went live discussing it with our good friend Ash and Luca. Afterwards, me and Forte are just talking, and then I look up again. And I'm like, all right, well, let me go ahead. You want to run some Call of Duty, try to get us, because at this point, I'm only like I'm at 95% completion of the battle pass. All I got need is a little bit more, but with no tokens to speed the process up, it takes a minute, right? So I look again because something tells me, hey, just double check things. Maybe you saw things wrong. And this is the part that I wish I would have checked multiple sources, but I didn't. I went on ahead and was like, I just saw the first source that talked about when it was going to start. I think I really wanted to know the exact time on Wednesday it was supposed to start. Instead, what I got was a website that had confused the preload for the new season with the actual new season starting. And so I was like, oh boy, Forte. He's like, what? And I'm like, the new season starts tomorrow at noon. He's like, oh, damn. So we played for hours Monday night to complete the battle pass. Forte finally gave up at like, what, 2 in the morning? And was just like, 2:30 in the morning. He said, I'm just going to buy these extra tokens and complete this battle pass. I got store credit. I can't stay up any further. I got to take these kids to school in the morning. I got work. I completely understand. I was a little bit closer than him, so I did about like 3 more matches, ended up going to sleep. It was really late. It was super late. The next day, I get up, and Taz had been checking the DM and saw what we had said and everything. I think Taz had just resigned himself. He wasn't going to complete it in time. He goes to try a new season Tuesday, and he's like, hey, it's saying the new season don't start till tomorrow. And I'm like, uh-oh. Because I ain't had Forte up all night. I'm like, Forte about to be mad at me. But he wasn't that mad, I guess. But regardless, it was just, we did a whole lot of grinding for nothing. We could have,
No. See, I woke. See. This is the thing. This is the thing that was, I didn't even. So I woke up on Tuesday and I was like, okay, I won't get a chance to, do the season stuff probably until tomorrow night. And then I forgot I had inventory, so I was sitting there like, okay, I got to get up 7:30 in the morning, drop my daughter off. Got to be at the store by 10. So probably going to try to lay down and get like a nap in before I got to go to work. So I do that. I wake up, go to work, get off work at 4 o'clock, come home, change clothes, get something to eat, got inventory at 6 o'clock. And I'm like, okay, so I'm probably not going to, and then this is an hour, the drive for the inventory is an hour from my house. So I officially walk in my house at 1 o'clock, 1:15 in the morning. And I was saying, I was about to go on my base. I said, let me go see what the battle pass got on there. He said, let me go see what the new season is. And then I was thinking you know what? Forte, you off work tomorrow. Take your butt to bed, go to sleep, and do it in the morning. So I was like, okay, because if I walk down in this basement, I'm going to probably end up playing the game. So I said, I'm going to sleep. I'm tired. I wake up the next morning. I drop my daughter off. I go in the basement getting all excited. It's like, okay, I'm about to jump in some Call of Duty, see what this new battle pass looking like. And I look up to the right hand, so everything looks the same. I was like, what? How does it look the same? It's the same load screen and everything. And I'm like, I instantly look up to the left, right where it shows how much time is left in the season. And it said 3 hours and 55 minutes. I literally almost lost my mind. I was like, I called Slow-Mo. I was like, Slow, literally, what the heck is this? Why is this season not started yet? I was like, what? And then, when you get mad like that, I instantly got tired. And I said, I'm going to sleep. I don't want to look at this game. I didn't even jump on. When did we jump on the game? It was about 7 o'clock that night or something?
Yeah, it was much later. Yeah.
No, it ticked me off because I was like, I'm sleepy. I want to go to sleep, and I instantly it was a bad time. By the time we started playing, it was okay. By the time I played with Slow-Mo, but my initial thought when I saw it said 3 hours and 55 minutes, I was like, yo, this season ain't gonna start to 12 o'clock today. What happened, Slow-Mo?
Wow. Whoopsie. I should have double checked the source. Whatever that website is, I don't know what it is. I ain't never going back there. If I can remember what it was. In-game assets. Right?
If you would have told me you looked at some random website, I would have been like, bro, what did the in-game assets say?
Anywho, let me shout out to some people in the chat. Shout out to Arcade 4247, first guy here. We appreciate you, sir. Shout out to Capono 5150 saying, great time to start that PC build. It's always a great time to start a PC build, but especially now, if you feel betrayed by the platform that you are currently on. Anywho, Mitchy dies a lot. What's up? Brain cells on fire. Much like Microsoft executives, brain cells are on fire. What's up with you? John the Don in the house. FTW, good to see you. Defloy and Defloy. And I think we had a new subscriber. I think his name Elemental Dragon. Shout out to you. Appreciate you for joining us. Oh man, Eric, what you been playing, man? Let's get into it. What you been playing lately?
That's dope. I've been all about and all in Lives of P for like the last week and a half or 2 weeks or so.
How far are you?
I am now approaching, I believe, chapter 7, I think it's 6 or 7. Right after you find the gold coin tree.
I don't know because I beat the first tutorial boss and then I said, all right, I'm gonna come back to this fire, and then it's still sitting installed waiting for me to come back to it. So I don't know for certain.
Yeah, I've been I just beat the Black Rabbit Brotherhood, and that was a bitch. That's one of those, multi-boss fights where you kind of, you're taking on like the one main boss and you're being jumped by the 3 others at the same time. You have to kind of segregate and separate and move around, but I came up with a pretty good strategy, and got past that. But I'm loving the game, man, as far as you get like these Souls likes, that are, or like these From like, like titles. And I feel like I haven't played all of these different ones, but for this one, it feels like you could probably put the From title on it and you would be pretty damn close to what they kind of do. But I also think that this game is doing things that From can learn from as well.
Actually, growing the game design and pushing forward, advancements, evolving.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I wouldn't be surprised. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if they're paying attention, to what Neo has done with this game. And just like simple things, like, when you're, kind of going through the game or whatever, and there may be like a side thing for you to do, like a side item, side mission type thing for you to do. It just put the little icon like on one of the little chapters and say, you might want to go back around, check this out, do a little exploring. You might run into something over here.
Oh, that's shocking.
It kind of helps you.
That From Software act like it is sacrilegious to do things like that. They gotta be so cryptic with everything. Like take for example, like the Ronnie quest line in Elden Ring.
Yeah.
And it just there's very little direction on what you're supposed to do next for the quest line. You gotta figure it out. It's just like, ain't nobody got time for that. You just basically telling me to go to YouTube and watch a walkthrough on it.
I was like, shout out to the people that have the time, who do the guides and figure these things out, because I don't know what normal gamer is supposed to figure that out. Because if you also don't do it in the correct order, you do it the right way, like you could completely miss the quest and not even do it. Mm-hmm. And sometimes the funny part is, so you don't even know you're in a quest. Initially, you're like, oh, yeah, I'm in a quest. Okay. Yeah.
Thought I just talked to a guy. Now all of a sudden I'm in the quest. Okay.
Okay. I guess we're doing this. So that is a really cool thing. Like, you see like this little icon on, like the little chapter that you might have passed or the little area that you might have passed, and it lets you know, oh, I did talk to that. Oh, okay, let me go back and take them this item or see what happens. So.
Right.
So that's dope. That's one little thing that they could pick up on and kind of do. But I'm also liking the fact that it's a little bit more linear, because I don't know about you, but Elden Ring was great. I loved Elden Ring, but you definitely get to that point where you're kind of like in the whole thing of open world. Nowadays, I'm more like, everything got to be open world. We got to do this. Like sometimes you just want something that's a little more, concise and and that's what this game is. It's a little bit more linear. There is a little bit of exploration, but it doesn't feel overwhelming. So it's moving along at a brisk pace. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm putting the time in. Like I said, I'm already in chapter 7. I think there might be 8 chapters. I'm not sure. I don't know if anybody in the chat has played it, but so between that and just the fact too, like I'm playing it and I'm like, I don't know how they figured this out, but Pinocchio fits perfectly for this kind of world and this kind of setting. You know, the lore, you know, kind of mixing it like it's sort of like goth mixed with a little bit of steampunk. Like that all that lore really does fit like a bleak world like this. And I'm like, man, that's genius to use that. You know, and I think that is sort of like that thing that's kind of separating them from kind of people saying, oh, they're just trying to be like, you know, like From. You know, so it all makes sense. Like giving it this theme really, really works like really well. So yeah, I can't talk about the game enough, man. Like it's awesome. Like I'm loving every part of it. I'm loving this world. The boss battles are fun. You know, they're challenging. Some, you know, can be a little tough in some cases, obviously, but no, I can't recommend it enough.
Yeah, you gotta learn how to parry in that game when you come to the bosses. You need to be a parry, proficient at parrying, which I've always been.
You gotta get some of that down.
Yeah, I've always been, and it's like a habit of mine. I dodge more than I parry, and even when I know I should be parrying, it's almost like a muscle habit of doing the dodge. And Lies of P isn't like as egregious with that or as strict with that on penalizing you as say like a Sekiro would, but you're basically you're really hurting yourself if you don't learn how to parry. And I think like that first boss fight, which the only boss I really fought in that game so far, it's you can beat the boss by dodging, but you're probably going to die a whole lot before you get to that point. You need to parry, and it's basically just kind of, it's like having the training wheels on. You know, saying, hey, look, man, get your parry game up. If you parry, this is a whole lot easier.
Yeah, because you know, you can, you know, break their stance and do things and get like some good, you know, strong hits in. So I kind of look at it like, you know, you have what people consider like love letters to what their favorite things are. And I have to say, like, Neowitz is definitely like a student of this genre. Like, you could tell that they've played these games and they understand what makes them tick and what makes them work. And like I said, I feel like, to me personally, they're pretty damn close to what everybody loves about From, but in some cases surpassing it. You know, so I can't wait to see what they do next. I'm glad the game is a success. And they're actually
definitely surpassing them visually.
Absolutely, but that's the other thing too. I'm like, look at these. You know, they got, you know, mouth movements and gestures.
Yeah,
like, it's not just standing there frozen. You know?
Yeah, and it is their first game in this genre. Yeah. But you know, by just the level of detail and the visual aesthetic and the fact that they were able to do that and it performed great and not be locked to 60 FPS on PC from Software. I anticipate if they do a sequel to Lies of P or another game in this vein that they wouldn't be using the exact same animations from Lies of P, the way that FromSoft recycles the same animations from the previous, you know, Souls games. I understand if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But if it's old and worn out, then, you know, replace it.
And that's the thing. Like, you know, it's like I'm you know, after playing Elden Ring, I'm like, they can't get away with still using this engine when it comes to like their next game. Like, they were kind of able to do it because it was cross-platform and people, you know, whatever. But even with that, it was still having issues, right? So I was like, and just looking at it visually, like, it's starting to show its age, their engine. Like, I don't think they can get away with pushing another game out in the next generation and being like, hey, yeah, this is what we do. We're From. It's like, you know, okay. They kind of had like the Bethesda charm pass because everyone loves them, loves their games and everything. So people kind of were whatever. But yeah, I think with Lies of P, it's kind of showing that they need to do something now to kind of, you know, bump it up. And from what I understand, like, I haven't been spoiled on it, you know, knock on wood, thankfully. But everyone has told me the end of this of Lies of P, like what they plan on doing next is crazy. So I can't wait to see what that is. They said the way that game ends, they said everyone I've known that talked about it were like kind of shocked, like, that's what they're gonna do? Oh, that's crazy. You know, teasing the next game. So yeah, so I'm looking forward to finding out what that is.
Weren't they talking about doing DLC for this one too?
They have actually. Next week there's gonna be Wolong DLC added to it. So like a new costume,
cross-
weapon, and fable art all being added to the game. And they did a crossover already with Wolong. Wolong got some Lies of P DLC, so they've been, kind of buddy, with Team Ninja. So that's pretty cool. I like seeing that.
Yeah. For me, I've been playing, as you see footage here. This is Call of Duty Season 2. So they got Rick Grimes in there. They got some Walking Dead. I mean, it's typically like, because they also had a skin for Paul Atreides from Dune, which the Dune movie comes out today. I think actually, is it today or this?
Yeah, it was today.
Yeah, so that makes sense. It's there's a reason. I don't know why The Walking Dead is in this season, but all right, it's there. But regardless, it's the Rick Grimes skin looks just like Angelique and the actor that plays Rick. It's the season's cool. It is what it is. It's typical Call of Duty, but I've been playing that with Forte, and shout out to Taz. Been playing it with Taz. We're having a good time. I also played some Battlefield with Forte for like a whole night, which was fascinating watching Forte basically, because I'm such a Battlefield noob when it comes about. Like I do when in the past I would do the campaigns and not really care about the multiplayer because I don't really care about vehicles. But like Forte was, hipping me to how 2042 is, and like I'll see it before he cracks on me about it. The entire night, Eric, I kept complaining that my grenade was doing nothing, and I'm just like, I don't understand. I'm throwing my grenade at people, they are not dying. I know the grenade's hitting people. What's up, Persona in the chat? What's up, Persona? I'm like, I know the grenade's hitting people. What the heck is going on? And then I'm like, who's throwing all the smoke? I can't see what's going on. I can't see the other team. Who's throwing the smoke? Yeah, about like 2-3 hours in, I realized it was me. I had a smoke grenade equipped. It was me the whole time throwing the smoke. And that's why my grenade wasn't killing nobody. And I'm just like,
oh man.
Oh my God. I'm like, I'm such a noob in this game.
I'm playing and I'm sitting there like, I know a lot of people be throwing smoke, but it's like I never have a problem with it. And he even had on the infrared scope and stuff. He said, I can't even see. I said, well, no, you can't see through heavy smoke with the infrared scopes and stuff. But I'm like, wait a minute, I'm not seeing all this smoke. And then literally like 2 hours later, he's like, man, I've been throwing smoke the whole time.
I had to laugh at that point because I was so angry. And I'm just like, is this the new meta now? Is the new meta you just throw smoke everywhere? Like instead of throwing grenades that blow stuff up? And how come my grenade? I don't know why it didn't hit me. My grenades weren't working. But there's smoke everywhere.
He literally said my grenades aren't working. And I just sat there and I thought about it. I said, well, maybe you just start hitting nobody.
No, I'm like, no, I mean like I'm throwing grenade right in the general area, like 2 or 3 people. No. This that should have killed people. It should have did it. It was not detonating, and I don't understand.
I wasn't complaining about
the barbecue and the smoking.
During the whole 3 hours, we probably played about 8 or 9 games because those games aren't short. So we probably played
forever.
We probably played 8 or 9 games. And the thing is, he never really complained about it. Like, he would complain a lot about it every once in a while. I guess, like, if he really felt like that grenade should have killed somebody, he would say something. So he never got to the point where he was like, man, what the heck is up with these grenades? Why they ain't working? And that would have probably prompted me to say, like, dude, what grenade are you using? But it never got to that point where he just completely blew the lid off. I think it was just the fact that he was just like in his own thoughts about it, and it was like, this is some bullshit. No, I don't want to complain about the game.
But I blew up. I blew up like maybe like 2-3 hours in. I was like, damn it, why don't these grenades work? Who keeps throwing all the mother effing smoke? I can't see nothing. It's smoke everywhere. And Forte is like, what? And then it was just like right when the match ended, it's like I threw a grenade and I saw it turn to smoke. And that's when I was like, oh, it was me. The entire time. And then I double checked. I was like, let me check out my loadout. And I saw the grenade and I was like, oh, I'm not even on frag grenade. Oh my God. I was like, I can't believe I did this. And it's just like, I'm like, I need to take my behind back to Halo and Call of Duty. But no, but it's just like, we haven't played Halo in forever, but we've been playing a lot of COD. I don't mind playing Battlefield again. Cause I was having fun. And now that I got this 4080 Super, man, playing in 4K at like 130 frames per second on average with max settings and it's a beautiful game. It is. It's and it's like when you play a shooter for the most part, you don't really care about the visuals like that. You just want to be able to look as good enough for you to see what the heck is going on and your frames are high. But if you got that overhead for it, it's chef's kiss. It's a beautiful game, man.
I will say before we move on, the other beautiful thing is watching a person that truly knows how to play the game and like knows the maps and stuff. Watching them dominate feels so good. It's like, cause you feel so bad at a game when you're playing it, and then I'm like watching slow-mo play Call of Duty, and I'm like, I could get better at this. I need to get better at this. And then I finally found my gun and I was like, oh, we're gonna get better at this. Cause it was dark days on that game, bro. It's so dark. Like cause I have a really, okay, cause I play so much Battlefield, little things are a little bit more, it's still an arcadey game, but it's a little more realistic over there. I'm not seeing people running around corners like quick scoping people, they shooting them in the toe and they dying. I'm not seeing that on Battlefield. So it irritates me when stuff like that happens on Call of Duty, and my whole mindset just like freaks the heck out. I can play this lot and slow-mo. What the hell is this, bro?
And I told him just be patient. It'll be just click. It'll click. Just be patient and get used to it.
Yeah, I'm straight now. We straight now.
Yeah, we having a good time on COD. Also, I'm gonna show this because I'm gonna play this through this 20 million times before this game comes out.
What?
But there was a state of play, and I guess I could have made this a topic, but whatever, right? There was a state of play, special state of play strictly for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. And then they also announced right after that there's a demo. And I'm like, I mean, it was kind of leaked ahead of time, but just the realization was like, let's freaking go, right? Oh my gosh, it's so good. That demo is so good. And if you played the original Final Fantasy VII, the entire demo is Cloud's, I say this in quotes, retelling of his experience with Sephiroth in the Mako reactor at his hometown in Nibelheim. And just something for me, this is a game that I played when I was in high school in 10th grade. And I remember being so confused on why it was so weird and why like they were skipping around certain parts and certain things didn't seem to be the full picture. And just to see it like in modern day visuals and all its glory, and then seeing some of those same parts really just had me just fanboying out. I loved it. The improvements they made to the combat, I'm really down for. Playing as Sephiroth, man, and the synergy moves with Sephiroth and Cloud. Oh my god, it's so good. And I'm going to be playing this off and on for like I've only played through it once since it came out. I haven't had time to play it again, but before the 29 comes out, I expect to play this probably about three more times just to really just wet my whistle with what a great experience is going to be with Rebirth. And just off this demo alone, I think this is going to be a Game of the Year nominee. Just my opinion on the year. Just little things like Cloud doing these squats right now, and I know a lot of people who have played Final Fantasy VII Original and played through Crisis Core know what that's really about, and it's just such a like you don't say anything because you don't want to really ruin it for the people who are brand new to this. And this game's over like what 20? Hold on, it's 97. 2000. It's 20. Okay, I'm really struggling with math right now. Look, it's over 20 years old, right? Okay, so there's a lot of people who are going to be playing this who have never played the original and don't really get it, but it's great, man. It's great. I like the visual upgrades. You're looking at like so many more people in the environment that are out and about. You're looking at so much more detail in the environment. Like when you're on the way to the Mako reactor and just looking at the detail in the environment to the point where it's like hard to even tell where the path is of where you're supposed to be walking. It's that good. So I'm feeling it. Did either you guys play the demo yet?
I refuse.
I have not.
Wait, what?
See, I'm okay. Well, I want to know why Forte says this because I have not.
You said what? Why? What you said? Why I don't want to play it?
Yeah, why you not doing it?
Okay, so I don't know this, but let me ask this first. Does any of your stuff go over?
So probably no, because you start out like, I mean,
I don't even know where you start at.
No,
well, I
I
mean,
think that was something that they talked about prior, like probably like a year ago or so. I don't think it carries over.
Okay, I didn't
Like
think it was.
stats and stuff.
Yeah, I didn't think it was, but that's not the reason I'm not doing it. The thing about it is certain games that I just refuse to not jump into. It's like I don't want to beat that demo, go cold turkey and have to wait to the end of the month to play it. I'd rather just wait for it to come out and just jump in and play it and see everything for the first time.
Miko in the chat says you can skip the section if you play the demo when the full games comes out, and can also get some items that carry over. So there you go. There's some benefit there.
Oh, so so that might change my perception on it. Maybe I'll wait till it's closer to the game coming out to do it. But the only reason that I didn't even watch that state of play with Final Fantasy because I don't want to see.
I thought you were talking about your stats from Remake. I'm sorry, not the demo.
Just the demo. The demo, not your stuff. Okay. That stuff that's different. Yeah, I'm just thinking. Okay. Yeah, I'm thinking because I just stayed away from everything. Like I didn't even look at the state of play. I don't want to look at it because everything in that I just want to be surprised when I see it because that was something I talked about. I talked about it yesterday because I jumped in. I jumped into the show yesterday with Enrique and them. And they were talking about stuff, and the one thing I was telling the story about because I'm a big sneaker guy, and the day before yesterday, the Jordan 4 reimagined brands got dropped. They got shock dropped on there, and I got a pair. And if anybody that shops on the sneaker app knows how hit or miss that app is, it's more missed than anything.
Yeah.
So I actually got the Gotham screen, and I was like, I was excited, bro. Like I was screaming and everything. I got these.
You
shoes.
Actually made it through.
I actually made it to the final boss. Yo, listen, I made it through the final boss and got those boys. So I literally called my wife on the phone and FaceTime her and showed my screen with the Gato screen. It was like, look what I got, babe. She was like, yo, that's what's up. And I was like, yo, I'm so excited. She said, yeah, you are. She said, I haven't seen you this and this no BS. This is what she said. I haven't seen you this excited since you got home with your Xbox 360 the day you stood outside and got it. And I thought about it and I was like, you might be right because I did the same thing. I called because I was with my girl then too.
Right now, Forte.
Dude, that was we're gonna talk about that later. But that was like the last,
I'm confused on what this has to do with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. You're talking about shoes, man.
No, I'm just saying, but it just makes me appreciate. Like you don't get surprised that often with gaming anymore. And Final Fantasy, I want to be 100% surprised with. I don't want to experience something and then go back and see it again in like 3 weeks. It's like I just rather wait. So could I already know that game from beginning to end is going to be so incredible? At least that's what I'm hyping myself up to be. And I'm hyping myself because I really don't know where this is going to end at. Like, where is this version of where's Rebirth going to end? I'm more interested. I'd be totally telling you that, Slow-Mo. The most interesting thing about Rebirth, we don't even know where the story technically can end in this game. It can end in a couple of different places. A lot of different things can happen. So my excitement level in this game is like 15 out of 10, maybe higher than that. So I don't want to look at anything about this game. I don't want to look at the state of play. We could talk about the stuff, but I'm not playing the demo. I'm just going to go in on day one and do nothing but play that game when it comes out. That's all I want to do.
I feel you. But for me, I'm
you're
because
gonna beat it like 5 times.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the demo like 5 times, so I got no problem doing the demo and then saying no, I won't skip this section when I play the full game. I'm gonna do it again, because I just that's where I'm at with it.
You're a person that will replay a game like 6 times too.
Yes, if I feel the game enough. Yeah, I'm on my playthrough. I'm doing a live playthrough. I'm on. My next one would be part 8 for remake that I'm doing on the DPS channel. This is like my 5th time playing through the game. So that's what's up. That's kind of how I am with stuff. But Eric, why are you skipping the demo?
I'm almost for like some of the same reason as Forte. Like I'm torn. Like I kind of want to play the demo, but at the same time I kind of want to go in a little bit more fresh. Even though I watched the state of play, I kind of want to just go into the demo and just play it from like from scratch. Not the demo, but I'm sorry, the full game. But I don't know, man. I mean, you kind of selling me. Your hype is kind of, it might break
infectious.
me.
No, I'm good.
It might break me, bro. I can't lie,
bro. You can, unless you telling me Tifa died in this, and I can go in and experience that. It's the only way I'm going.
Well, they did show in the state of play. There's a particular scene that is iconic. Yeah, so we saw a glimpse of it. So yeah,
I have a theory about that scene, and it ain't good for Tifa lovers.
I have a theory as well, and it is good for Tifa. Well, we can get into that later. Let's go ahead. We've
protected at all costs.
Yeah, we've done a lot of discussing and not really got into the topics yet. So let's just transition. We're already talking about Square Enix. Let's talk about Square Enix. And although Final Fantasy VII Rebirth looks like it's going to be a banger, and I'm sure it's going to sell well and do well for them when it comes out later this month. There isn't all good news for Square Enix because they had some discussions about their financial reports, which showed that financially they're not doing that great. And the new CEO has announced that they are conducting a fundamental review of their development system with the aim of improving the quality of their games. And they also indicated a policy of reducing outsourced development and focusing on developing large-scale games in-house. So if you understand the structure of how Square Enix has their teams, and I forget the exact name of how their in-house teams are, they don't have like, how like Bethesda will have they have Bethesda Game Studios, there's Cinemax Media, there's Arcane, there's id Software, so on and so forth. Square has like business unit. It'll be like business unit 2, business unit 3, 4, so on and so forth. Those are the teams that they're going to be focusing more and shifting their money towards the development of those games versus potentially maybe not something like a Octopath Traveler by Acquire who has been acquired by what's it called? Kadokawa, the company that owns From Software. They have just recently acquired them for an undisclosed amount, which I believe that's likely the case if they would decide to be acquired by them due to potentially not being able to work with Square Enix in the future. I mean, that's no guarantee, but we'll have to see. But I think in that, I understand them not wanting to put money into projects like, I don't know how Foam Stars is doing currently, but Babylon's Fall was a fail financially and critically. But they worked with Platinum, who they don't own. They outsourced that. Outriders, they have, even though people can fly, have their own opinions on these things. Outriders wasn't like a massive financial success either. That's another game that they outsourced development to. But you look at their in-house games, Final Fantasy 16 didn't do as great as 15, but it did fairly well. Final Fantasy 7 Remake sold 7 million. Rebirth is going to be great. Final Fantasy 14 is a moneymaker. You can kind of see, and they're also working on other remakes of previous Final Fantasy games that haven't yet been announced yet. You can kind of see where I can understand where they want to choose to go in this direction. Eric, what are your thoughts on Square Enix's new structure, or a potentially a new way of doing things in the future?
Honestly, I wasn't even really that aware of this until you put it in the topic list, and just from like quickly looking over it, I just kind of went back to where I was thinking about where they were like about a year and a half ago, when they were releasing, what was that, in like a 4 or 5 month span, they had like 4 games, like a game per month.
Oh, more than that. Yeah. It was
right?
They dumped a bunch of games out all at once in like one quarter, and like I don't think any of them really sold that great. One of them in particular I played, I can't, the name of it is so like, I couldn't even believe this was a name of a game. It's like a run-on sentence or something, but it's essentially kind of like a Phoenix Wright lawyer game, but it's a mystery horror game. It's really good. Great story, multiple endings, had a ball with it. Nobody even knew that game existed. They barely marketed it, and it's unfortunate, but it was a really good game. I really enjoyed it, but like I anticipate I won't see many games like that being published by them in the future.
Probably not. But either way, I just kind of said like, man, they need to slow down, man, because if you're not giving a game like room to breathe and you're not promoting it, you seem weird, because then they'll turn right around and be like, oh, that was a flop. That was a failure. It's like, well, what did you expect was going to happen?
Right.
You know, these games that you put out also aren't always the shortest of games. They take some time, to put into it, whatever. And it's like, who's the audience? Like, who are you trying to talk to? Because it's the same audience for most likely for most of these games.
Mm-hmm.
So no, I definitely think a re-strategizing of top to bottom things for them is definitely going to be like warranted, because I know they kind of sometimes have like those lofty like sale projections, and I'm like, I don't know why they thought that, but I don't know, couldn't hurt them.
Yeah. Forte. And I'll say this, Miko's right, that's the name of it, Paranormal Site: The 7 Mysteries of Hangzhou.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, that's it. That's a name for your ass, man.
now by the way, awesome game. I enjoyed that game, had a great time with it. I recommend it. Play Paranormal Site. That said, that game, the name of that game escapes me every time I think about it. Forte, you think part of this change in policy with Square Enix might be them no longer doing timed exclusive content with PlayStation?
I mean, it's kind of hard to say that's what it is, for the most part, because we don't know how long these time exclusivities is. I mean, they still have another game in whatever the third part of Final Fantasy that's coming out that they are, you would kind of just guess that they're under contract to like do
with PlayStation,
whatever's going on with that with PlayStation. So
right,
we're at least talking through at least that game. Now, is this like kind of showing a restructure of the idea of doing partnerships like that past that? Absolutely, it could be. But I also think it just ultimately mostly comes back to development cost and stuff. If the price of the games are going to still stay where they are, and people are still clamoring for games that pretty much break the bank, and those are the ones that people clamor for the most, the best way to offset some of that is by having partners that are willing to fund or give some type of insight into that game or assets into that game, just so you can get that lower cost down, and you already know that you're going to sell it no matter where it is. Like Final Fantasy is one of those games that's going to sell no matter where it is, especially when you're talking about something like a remake of one of the, you know, most beloved titles in history. So if they're looking at it as that, then yeah, they'll continue to keep doing what they're doing. But I don't think there's too many games out there for Square Enix like that move the needle in that way, where they feel like they have to have some type of development cost, you know, put towards that when it comes to them making the game. So I do think that this is a situation where they are going to be doing probably less time exclusivity stuff with other publications and stuff. But I think it's not going to say it's going to end anytime soon, just due to the fact that they still have some outstanding agreements that they have to finish out first. But this is a start.
Honor that first.
Yeah, they got to honor that first. But this is a start. This is but it also will probably give them more ideas and what they can do to kind of breathe more life into their franchises and stuff. You know, they already separated themselves from a lot of their Western studios and stuff. I think all of their Western studios for the most part. So they're really going to be just, you know, tinkering in that JRPG market, like something they were really, really strong in. You talk about the fact that the the developers behind Octopath was going on with that and everything too. So there's a lot of moves that's happening over at Square Enix, and a lot of games that people really like. But you got to remember, Square Enix, they do really well on Nintendo too. Like a lot of their titles do really well, especially when it comes to the RPG. You talk about the Dragon Quest.
Very true.
You talk about all those Dragon Quest games and everything, like Octopath Traveler. A lot of obscure games you will never even know about that don't release over here in the West unless, you know, it's a game that you heard somewhere and you pre-ordered it, and you'd be like, what is this? Like, I literally have a customer that comes to my store and he pre-orders some of the most obscure things I've never heard about for the Switch. And a good portion of those games are from Square Enix that I didn't even know they made. So they overall do have a lot of things that they could offer people. This just might be the next step into like separating themselves to start to do that a little bit more instead of tying themselves to particular platforms.
Yeah, I think at the very least, we may start to see that those games, their games would be day and date on PC, and not staggered on PC. I mean, we saw Forspoken was, but potentially maybe the last Final Fantasy VII R, you know, whereas Revolution or Reunion or whatever you want to call the third one might be. Because if you look at, we're seeing a lot of Japanese developers and publishers having success on PC at the moment. Persona 3 Reload is selling faster than any other Persona game so far. There is Grand Blue Fantasy Relink sold really great on Steam. Helldivers 2, not Japanese, but this is a AA game, got a bit of a glow up, selling really great on Steam at the moment, despite some of the misgivings people are having with a very evasive rootkit being installed in the form of an anti-cheat on it, and some issues with the servers and matchmaking and whatnot. But that was the top sold game on Steam for a few days. And I think that you're kind of starting to see publishers and developers really take note of an audience that they could be capturing that they're not currently getting if they just make it everything timed with a particular console platform. This is a different segment of the market that you could be actually getting those additional sales from right away instead of 6 months to a year later, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Anywho, I'm interested in seeing how that plays out in the future. But when Rebirth comes out, don't talk to me, okay? Don't say nothing. Don't say nothing to me, cause I'm not gonna be around. You're not gonna hear from me. I'm not tweeting. I'm not. I mean, I'm gonna show up for the podcast, of course, right?
You gonna disappear?
I'm going incognito because I am playing Rebirth, and that's it. That is all you're getting. But that said, let's discuss a different game that is likely going to have, well, not likely, definitely going to have a sequel in the future, and that is Cyberpunk and CD Projekt Red, because what's been going on with CD Projekt Red is they are working on Project Orion, which is currently in the early stages of development, with the studio veterans of CD Projekt Red that were all working on Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty, which is the footage that you're seeing right now. They are spearheading the project, and joining them are industry veterans that they are adding, not just the Polish developers, but they're bringing in a lot of people from other corners of the world, people who are veterans from Blizzard, Massive Entertainment, NetherRealm, Remedy, and BioWare. And this group is working on Project Orion, which is the sequel to Cyberpunk. And they've also, CD Projekt Red has done a lot of expanding, and they've opened up studios in Boston, and I think one in Canada as well, but I think the Boston studio is the one that is heading up development on the new Cyberpunk. So guys, I'll start with you, Eric. Did you play Cyberpunk 2077?
I started it last year, and then I got sidetracked, so I got to get back to it. And I probably got, I want to say like 10 hours in. So yeah, I got to go back and finish it off. I'm probably going to do that after I do Lies of P.
Got you. Cyberpunk's so good. I mean, I wish it would have launched like this, because it would have been in the Game of the Year conversation for whatever year that it would have launched. Likely 2022 would have been the year that it would have been ready. Yeah.
Yeah,
but
I waited on it to get like all of its updates and for them to get all their ducks in a row with everything before I like picked it up and jumped in, you know?
Yeah. So all that said, so you probably don't know much about, the game in full to answer the question, but to any degree that you can, where do you think they'll take the sequel as far as do you think they may decide to provide a third-person perspective mode, since a lot of people who were interested in the game pre-launch and post-launch still would like to have a third-person perspective? Do you think that's something that might be something they may do in the future?
Absolutely, because I know that was a part of the initial plan, right? For when they were first showing this game, it was supposed to have that, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
So I can definitely see them. I don't think they'll go away from the first person perspective. I can definitely see them giving the option where you can switch back and forth if you want to. I think what you're going to definitely get in the next Cyberpunk is all those ideas that got cut. The hype release, I should say, the yellow chair release, is going to probably be in the next version. I think they're going to probably, considering where that game is now versus where it launched, like a lot of the vision for what they were trying to do is in the new updates, right? Not all of it, but a good portion of it. So I think the next one, is the opportunity for them to completely deliver on the full vision of what they had for the original launch. Before they kind of ended up where they did.
Right.
And again, it's another story of where you hold them accountable, but it kind of shows like their pedigree. Like when the suits get involved, that's when things really get decked up. But that's not where the vision of the artist and the developers themselves want things to be and want things to go. So the fact that they were able to kind of turn it around, and you don't really hear a whole lot about how it started, but about more where it is. And it kind of goes to show that gamers have short memories. Not that you forget, not that you don't hold them accountable and say, hey, don't do that again. But when you deliver a good game, and if you have the time and the resources to fix it and make good on it, you're doing these updates and you just continue to trudge forward, all like we saw with like No Man's Sky, it puts you in a better position. So I think whatever they learned from stepping on the rake, with the launch, you won't see any of that when it comes to the next game. I think that next game is going to be absolutely off the hook.
Right. And so that's the question I was going to have for Forte, because, like something that I noticed is that the CD Projekt Red arrogance is it's back a little bit. And, they were a bit more humble after being humbled with their launch and technically, keep it a buck, they lied about a lot of stuff. They said that stuff would be there that wasn't there, and then they tried to manipulate reviews in order to make sure that the game was received well, and a lot of the problems that the game was guaranteed to have, whether people knew it or not, was going to be there, and they didn't want people to know that before they bought the game. Now, when I say that some of that CDPR arrogance is back, I saw statements coming from developers speaking on what they plan to do with the next game and what they plan to do with Witcher. That was very much like just really speaking, and I understand, like you're going to be proud of the work that you do, but it was a bit presumptuous in some of the statements they were talking about in regards to the features that those games would have. And so I say all that to say it got me thinking, and I want to ask this to Forte. Forte, do you think that that if that arrogance is back, the arrogance that you may be just fine doing what you did before and releasing the game as you did before, and that people have forgotten due to the major success of Phantom Liberty, due to them getting their flowers for the game being what it should have been in the very first place? Do you think that there's a chance they might do that again?
Ooh. If it has anything to do with the development side, no, because I think the developers had nothing to do with the faults of the game initially. It just all came from the top, basically. Now, a lot of people, I mean, this is the thing, people never learn, really. I mean, ultimately, when something bounces back and does really, really well, especially when people go out of their way by saying that I'm never going to support this, I'm not going to support this ever again, I'm done with this. But then your wallet speaks more than anything. Your actions speak louder than words, as the saying goes. So when they see that, a game that sold over 12 million copies after people refunded it, and then as soon as they started out, but I mean, dude, think about it: 12 million copies after refunds. That just lets you know how good. The game
and after initially. Sony shut them down on their store. Yeah,
right. So they shut the store down and all this stuff. But then and think about it: the game wasn't even fixed completely, but people were still running out to the store to find copies of that game. That game was very hard to find, even after PlayStation took it off the store for quite some time as a physical copy so you could play it on PlayStation and stuff. So people were still going out spending money, every time a little update would come out, oh, Cyberpunk's getting better. Cyberpunk's getting better. Like, you know, instead of just saying, okay, I'm not going to do anything until the game is completely fixed. Like, that's what I did. I still haven't played it yet, but I you know, that's mostly due at this point now because there's just been a bunch of other stuff that we've been kind of playing. But my goal was to basically wait until the full game came, it was fixed, the DLC and everything. I said, because there's no reason to play it right now. We might as well wait till all the content is out, then play it then. But guess what? People weren't doing that. So you're kind of telling the heads at CDPR that no matter what we do, we can't lose when it comes to this, like the direction we go in making and decisions we go to and distributing and everything when it comes to these games. So you would hope that they learned from it, but once again, no one really ever learns from anything that is happening when it comes to stuff like this, because they feel like, oh, that was just a one-time thing. People still love us and everything like that. And what are you really telling them when, even when the game's in a bad state, their numbers are still going up, their engagement is still going up. So that's why I kind of think it's a chance that it can still happen again. Hopefully not, but you can't put anything past the people up there because, you know, you're telling them something different.
Very true. I think that the next Witcher game is probably going to come out before this game, because if you get, this game is running on the Red engine, which is probably one of the best game engines out there, most advanced engines out there. It's way ahead of the rest of the industry when it comes to ray tracing, path tracing, visual effects, that kind of stuff. But they have decided to move away from that and go to the tried and true. Well, tried, I wouldn't say true, because Unreal Engine 5 has been having a lot of issues. But they're moving towards Unreal Engine, and I think they're Cyberpunk 2077 and Phantom Liberty are the last games to be using this game engine, but they're trying to adapt their new their tools and everything to Unreal Engine 5. I think that transition may slow down the development a bit, so that we're probably not going to see the next Cyberpunk until either the end of this generation or the beginning of next generation. And more than likely, the next Witcher game will be out before that. But hopefully that doesn't, like, the lessons they learned in releasing this game the way they did are still remembered by the people who made those decisions. And another thought I had is that, what if, like, there's a different board there, and they didn't, and in the lessons that were learned by the current board has not carried over to the new board. You know, you just never know. And so I kind of hope that's not the case, but I guess we'll have to see. Either way, I recommend people play Phantom Liberty, Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty. It's freaking awesome. It's some of the best.
How many builds do you have in that game now?
3. I have 3 builds, 3 characters with all 3 of the different origins that you get: Street, Rat, Nomad, and Corpo. My Corpo this is my character. That's a Corpo, and I got this edge. I call this my edge runner build, even though it's not technically the way they consider edge runners in the game. But I used all of the different abilities that were popularized in the anime Edge Runners. That's on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why. So I'm using the. Yeah. The Sand Devastation is the best cyberware in the game. So I'm using that. I'm using the mono wire, which is freaking amazing. And just that combination itself is it was OP before they did the 2.0 update. And it is not quite as OP as it was before, but after the adjustments I made, that kind of like balance things out, it's still, I'm still basically running over everybody. But I got that. I have what I call a gunslinger build, where I use camo to get stealth damage increases, and also use a Sand Devastation as well to do like basically just almost automatic headshots on everyone. and that's the game plan really for that build. It's like I go into an encounter, I go into a crouch because crouching gives me more damage. I go into crouch and I do camo, and then I just start killing everybody with one shot. And then my third one is like a pure net runner. That's my nomad, and all the damage that she does is all through hacks and something, quick hacks as they call them. And something that's important to remember for people who haven't played Cyberpunk yet is that doing Phantom Liberty as soon as you can is probably beneficial. You can choose to do it ahead of time, and they'll give you like a little bit of like a makeup character or build to just get into it. I wouldn't recommend doing that. Play the game out, but then once you get past a certain quest line, it becomes available to you. Do that as soon as possible, because the weapons that you get from that and some of the cyberware and stuff you get from it is among the best in the game. And so you don't want to miss out on that stuff before you get near end game and completion and everything. But something that I will be doing
at that point, then do Phantom Liberty and then go back to the regular game.
Yes. Okay. Yes, it's the best way to go about it. And something that I will be doing on the DPS channel, because I'm basically at end game. Well, we're ready for completion of the game on all three builds. Once I'm done with the remake series on the DPS channel, and once I've finished the Rebirth, I'm going to upload every ending to the game on the DPS channel. So look out for that in the future. I probably would get into that around March, most likely. But that's the game plan going forward. Anything else you guys want to say about CDPR and Cyberpunk before we move on?
It's raining outside.
What?
No, don't pay me.
I'm looking forward to getting back to the game, because, like I said, I was loving what I was playing, and now I'm thinking, where did I get distracted by? I don't know, whatever came out at the end of the year. But we got so many damn games these days, man.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely looking forward to what the next installment of The Witcher will be, what they're going to do with that. And then, like you said, shout out to the anime for Edge Runners. That was dope.
Yo, that anime is amazing.
If nobody saw it, people didn't see it, go watch that. Actually, watch that before you play the game.
Yeah, because it takes place a year or two before the game starts, I believe. Yes, it takes place not too long before the game starts, so it was actually really good to watch that. And one is amazing. It's really good. Right. It's well done.
Really.
And two, it really kind of like introduces you to the whole Cyberpunk universe, the world, and its lore, so that you have a good idea of what to expect once you start playing the game. It's worth it. It's well worth it.
Yeah.
Forte, anything besides it's raining that you want to add before we move on?
No, man, it's raining, but I'm good.
All right, so our next topic, before we get into the nitty gritty of things, is about Persona and Atlas and Sega. So apparently there's a rumor out here that Persona 2 is potentially coming back as a remaster, not a remake, a remaster, but it will have some quality of life changes, much like how Persona 3 Reload, which I have on the screen right now, has had some quality of life changes. And that is coming to all platforms, including the new Switch, which is rumored to be released later this year, and the next Xbox, whenever that comes out. And there's also a potential Persona 4 remaster, which a lot of people may have played Persona 4 Golden on PlayStation, PSP, and Xbox. It lives on everything, actually. It's been out for a little over a year now on everything, Persona 4 Golden. But there's supposed to be a remake of that is pretty much years away, because it's not in production yet. And all this said, the Persona 2 remaster is supposed to be a very small budget project, but it should be releasing either before Persona 6, which also hasn't been announced yet, or maybe the year after Persona 6 comes out. So my question to you, Forte, is this something that you'll be interested in?
So the fact that, well, see, I never played the original one, so I just started playing Persona 3 on Xbox because it's shout out to Game Pass, put it in there.
Reload.
Yep, I just Reload.
How you liking it?
Playing. It's good. I actually like. I ain't put as much time into it, but it's a lot. It's a lot better. Well, I ain't gonna say it's better. I just have a thing about school, and I did that so much in my life in Persona 5. I just don't want to do it anymore. Every time I
That's
boot
what
that
you hear
game
from
up,
people though when it comes to the Persona games. Like they're like, school stuff, man.
school, like, dude, I did that.
You're
for
in
12
school,
years. I did
man.
that for a good 12 to 14 years. I wouldn't do that no more. So.
Not in Japan, you did school here.
Right. Yeah, I didn't do that school, but still. It's school is school. You already know what that is. You know,
man.
how many times did you almost fall asleep at the table at school? A couple times, man. Couple times, man. You know, late nights, man. Had a girl over, you never know what happened. But yo, I'm pretty interested in this because I do kind of want to start from the beginning. It does have me a little bit more interested. I like how it looks like the leaks are saying that the 2 is pretty much going to come out right before 6 or the year after 6, and 4 they said it wasn't even in pre-production yet, so it looks like they're going to be just getting started on that. So who knows when we're actually going to see something like that. I do think it's good for a lot of people because I do think we went through an age of gamers that never really experienced what real RPGs were, because of a lot of the games that are, a lot of the games that are being played now are, games as a service. Fortnite took over, Call of Duty mobile and all these other games like that. So I do think at some point, I don't think that bubble is going to burst completely, but I do think it's going to be kind of a reset where people are going to go back and want to do other things. Because that's kind of what happened with me. Like, I played Destiny for almost 10 years, or 8.5 if you count just getting out this year. It's a lot of stuff I missed, and there's a lot of games that I'm going back and revisiting. I'm looking at my library and I'm like, dude, I have all these games. Let me start digging into them. And I think there's going to be a lot of people. So by the time that these games do come out, I think there's going to be people that's going to hear like how great the Persona series is, and they're going to want to go back and experience that stuff from the beginning. So this is probably the best time. I don't know if they would have released today, it would have the same type of impact, because people are still staunchly in the things that they're playing. But by the time these games do release, I do think it will be kind of more of a longing to play some of those traditional games, get back to playing those single player experiences that, you used to grow up on, and those kind of one and dones. Because I think people look at one and dones like, well, it's a one and done. What you gonna do with it when you're done playing it? Well, I'm gonna tell a person, like, that's why you don't buy digital copies of one and dones. You buy physical copies and trade them in when you're done and go towards the next one. But I kind of think that's what's going to happen with it. So I do like the direction. I just hope the execution is definitely there, because who knows where gaming is going to be in the next 2 to 3 years when it comes to what the fad is going to be. They're going to have to do something that's going to be either very, very true to what the experience was when they first released, or really change it up to bring people back into something that kind of isn't, the end thing at that time.
Yeah. So a couple of things to note. Sega's doing great right now. Like, yes, they came out with their financial reports, and they were, they're doing very, very well financially. Sorry for the Xbox guys that are like, hey, buy Sega. It's probably not going to happen. That said, one of their pillar franchises that they spoke of, the 3, one is like the Like a Dragon series, aka Yakuza. The other one is Sonic, mostly due to nostalgia. Let me stop, because I know like everyone's probably going to hear this and get angry. The third is Persona, the Persona games, and how well they do. And I mentioned earlier that Persona 3 Reload is selling the fastest out of any Persona game that's out there. Friend will call me a hater. And I think that these are rumors. Nothing is official about these things being said. These Persona games coming back, but it makes sense. It would make sense to reinvest in these games that are doing really well for you, and as they admitted, are a key part of their platform. They're 3 big IPs. And with that said, I do kind of find it odd that you would do a remaster of the older game, but a remake of Golden. Now, I have never played Persona 2, so I have no idea what that game looks like. But I've played Golden, Persona 4 Golden, and I feel like the dungeons, aka the palaces, are really. I know the game originally came out like on PSP or something like that, or Vita, and so its development was kind of for that, but those dungeons all look the same, and that's very different than what you get from, say, like a Persona 5 and Persona 5 Royal, where each palace had a different theme, had a entirely different look and design, and in Golden, they all look exactly the same. So maybe they want to do a remake so they can actually remake this stuff to look somewhat different than the way the original game did. But I can only imagine what 2 looks like, and I kind of figure, like, why don't you just remake both of them? I don't know. Maybe they kind of feel like they don't want people to go that long without Persona or capitalizing on that IP. So maybe just a visual glow up is better for 2, but 4 selling so well, like as it did on PC and other places, might get a little bit more TLC. I don't know. Eric, what are your thoughts on that? Do you think it's a little weird that they're doing it this way?
I wouldn't necessarily say weird. Kind of staggered, I guess, in a way, but not really necessarily. I wouldn't say weird.
Okay, all right.
How do you feel it's weird?
I think it's weird because it's like I get it if they want to try to get as many games out as possible. And they see the development was rumored on the Persona 2 remaster is a much smaller team, and so it shouldn't take as long with a smaller project idea and budget. But I just kind of figure like you will want, and maybe it's just me wanting the very best quality. The older game. The older games deserve remakes over the newer games. Both of these games are old as far as anyone's concerned. But if you're gonna remake the one that came out 2 games after the previous one, you're remastering. It just seems weird to me. That's all.
So when you put it like that, what would be your best guess as to why they decided to put that kind of quality of life love into 3 Reload, but not go the extra distance? Because obviously now, I mean, we're definitely in a different world when it comes to like RPGs, or in particular JRPGs. I know,
Yeah. The only
like
thing
that's a taboo term for some developers, JRPG.
True. True. Right.
But
shout out to Yoshi
but
P.
you have more eyes. Yeah, Yoshi P is like Yoshi. But anyway, but you have more eyes and numbers in the West now on these games than ever, right? So you're gonna have everybody high on Persona 3 Reload and what you did with that, giving it all like the quality of life updates and love, and then if you're just gonna kind of give that remaster to that older game, it's gonna be like almost like playing like an old Resident Evil,
right?
It's almost like getting all that. Yeah,
I wonder if it's just, and I said it already, but the only thing I can think of is that they want to have, how there's some publishers that like to really milk a franchise, and I hate to say milk because maybe that's not really the best term for it, but to really capitalize on an IP. So we see it with Activision / now Xbox with Call of Duty. There's a Call of Duty every year, right? What if they wanted to release a Persona game every year? Because something that the rumors said is that the game is either releasing before Persona 6 or the next year after. And so if for Persona 2, so this year they got Persona 3 Reload. I've heard that Persona 6 will be announced sometime this year. Don't know if that's certain or not. But if you announce Persona 6 this year, release it next year, and then in 2026 you got this Persona 2 remaster, and then maybe in 2027 you're now at that point ready to launch the Persona 4 remake. And then somewhere in there is going to be, as they typically do, because like there was Persona 4, and then there's Persona 4 Golden, there was Persona 3 Portable, and now there's Persona 3 Reload. There was Persona 5, and then they got a Persona 5 Royal and Royal Golden. All these games are normally like QOL improvements. It's not very popular from some people how they kind of feel like updates to the game would have been better than you releasing a full new release with a new a word at the end of it. Maybe it'll be Persona 6 Rose Sunflower, like something weird, right? And it's just like it's really the same game. You added a new semester on the end with a new character. You remixed the palaces a little bit, made them. This is what they did from 5 to Royal. They basically took the criticisms of the game and just did what we see from other games, which is strictly like just updates, quality updates. That's it. And they monetize that, and I feel like that's somewhat not popular from because typically what you get with that is other people just make this a free update, or at least DLC on top of the game that's already there instead of charging for a whole new game. But they'll do that too somewhere in this time frame, and I think that is them, Sega and Atlas, continuing to monetize this IP and generate more revenue off of it. But
yeah,
if we're done with these topics, I guess we can get into the nitty gritty, because this is going to be this is going to be a lot to get into, and I know there are people who are pretty passionate about this topic. We've seen a lot of passionate talk in regards to how this is all going to play out. So
yeah,
it's about that time to do that transition. Forte, are you up on the DPS channel right now? Forte?
I went outside in the rain.
My mic was off to the side. I am hitting the button on there now.
All right, I will set up the transition. And for those who have missed the past 2 episodes, what we're doing here is that we're transitioning our final topic and the topic of the biggest topic of the night to the DPS channel to kind of facilitate more people getting into the DPS channel. Our total goal here is to have the DPS channel be the only place that you go for the DPS podcast eventually, but there are a lot of people that aren't on the channel yet right now or not sub to it. So what we'll be doing is that we still do our usual, and we used to just go live on both, but instead we go live on the DPS channel a little bit later after we've started the podcast on one of our channels, and then we actually redirect the entire live chat to the DPS channel so that you guys can just continue on there. And we'll also throw the link inside of the chat so that I don't quite know how that works on a replay. I guess I should probably find out myself, but we'll throw the link in for the DPS for the channel in the link in the chat here, so that anyone watching later on can see that and just click the link if the redirect doesn't redirect on the replay.
It is live.
Okay, great. So everyone else that's live, we're going to do that transition. Forte, can you get the link to that and put it in the chat real quick?
I sure can.
All right.
Anything for the homie.
Oh my gosh. Nothing. I said nothing, man.
Hey, don't be like that.
What is? No, that's not it. You titled it "Waiting for That Xbox Business."
Yeah.
That's all I see. Okay. All right. So that is set up now, and we're going to go ahead and get that transition going. Forte, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right.
Copy link, and I am posting it in this one.
Yeah. Go ahead and put that in there before I do this redirect, because if you do it later, it's not going to show up.
Harmonious and control paste. Why is it hiding? Oh, there it is.
I don't see anything. Oh, there it is. Cool. All right. So you click the link if you're watching the replay, or if you are still here live, like, the 30 of you guys, then we can just head over it. And you do have to hit the button, I think.